Lock's characters all possess unique weapons and playstyles specific to each character. But what is each player truly able to do with the weapons in their arsenal? Well, that's what I'll be going over in this series called Blue Lock Arsenal. For today's video, I'll be covering Karasu Tabito, his playstyle, and the weapons in his arsenal. This will include all of the skills, weapons, and abilities that he has shown to use from his introduction all the way up to the current chapters of the manga. Speaking on the current chapters, if you are not caught up to the latest chapter of the manga being chapter 287 as of me making this video, I would suggest you click off this video now because you will be spoiled. Now to begin, before we can even address Karasu's weapons and his playstyle, we should take a look at his personality. That way we can get a better scope on his performance and mindset during a game. Karasu tends to look down on people that he finds mediocre. He is very wary of his surroundings and is able to control and produce chemical reactions with those around him. He is intelligent, but he has a sharp tongue and never misses a chance to insult someone, whether it be friend or foe. During the U20 match, Karasu showed his leadership ability on defense, often communicating with the other defensive players to strategize against the quickly incoming U20 players. He commands players like Yo Hiyori and Kenyon Yukimiya in terms of attacking and defending, even if the players are aware of what to do. He is also willing to use every advantage at his disposal, as shown when he asked the referee to card Shiro Ryusei for kicking Rin in the face. Under his confident demeanor, Karasu actually considers himself to be mediocre. His trait for finding others' weaknesses and teasing them into submission was a form of protection to keep others from realizing his own true nature. He is fully aware of his own mediocrity, and he respects those who he considers extraordinary. This personality trait is what made him so compatible with Eita Otoya. But now that we've addressed how Karasu thinks and how Karasu acts, we should take a look at his playstyle. According to the Blue Lock Wiki, Karasu's style of play is known as the midfielder general, a central midfield player who absolutely controls the midfield area, directing team play and breaking up the opponent's attacks. They are known for having the biggest influence on the team's overall performances, driving them forward to attack, putting sustained pressure on the opposition, and leading by example when the team is defending. Karasu's recent style change from an attacking player to a defensive midfielder is more of a slow transition. His role usually acts as receiving a pass from a defender or picking up a loose ball, and kickstarting an offensive play with him as the catalyst. We see this between him and Otoya, as well as he and Hiyori, as Karasu directs Otoya and Hiyori into specific positions in order to continue a play. This is also seen for the opposition as well, as Karasu was able to pull both Kiora and Grim towards him before sending a pass to a now free Charles. But now that we've addressed his playstyle, let's take a look at some of Karasu's weapons. But before we do, if you are enjoying this video so far, leave me a like and subscribe down below to see more awesome Blue Lock content just like this. I also have a Discord server called the New Egoist Geeks, and if you are interested in joining that, you can do so by clicking the link down below. Looking at Karasu's weapon arsenal, he does have very few but very powerful weapons. His first core ability is called Precision Analysis, first shown in chapter 98 of the manga or episode 26 of the anime. Karasu is renowned for his tactical shrewdness, having a reputation for targeting an enemy team's weakest link or player and focusing his plays against them, as stated by Hiyori. His analytical ability was at such a high level that Ego made the decision to position him as the defensive midfielder of the Blue Lock 11 to act as the beating heart of the team, transitioning from defense to offense. His ball keeping technique was another factor that was considered in his placement, but you get my point. Karasu has demonstrated an incredible grasp of tactics, being able to break down the U20's defensive setup and the likely steps that they will take to prevent an attack. After doing so, he was able to organize an attack with both Otoya and Chigiri to break through their defense, leading to Blue Lock's second goal. Karasu has also shown pretty good awareness, knowing when to stall in the defense against Sai, giving his team time to organize, as well as when to join the offensive line, providing an extra option. This also coordinates with what I mentioned previously, with him baiting other players towards him. By being aware of his opponent's plans and ideas, he can manipulate them into acting how he wants, allowing for other players to take the stage. We see in the episode Nagi manga that those plays aren't just limited to positioning, it also relates to action. By judging how the other players are moving and by directing others to move in certain ways, Karasu can position himself in the area that would result in the most beneficial turnaround for the team. We see this happen with both Aiki and with Kiora in episode Nagi chapter 24. His next core weapon is called Expert Ball Keeping, like the previous skill, also first shown in chapter 98 of the manga or episode 26 of the anime. Karasu has the best ball keeping sense in Blue Lock due to his spatial and tactical awareness and his unique ability to control the space with his hands. By gauging the distance between himself and his opponent, Karasu can use his body and more specifically his arms to block them off from the ball. This allows him to control the space, enabling him to either steal the ball from them or dribble past them. We see that Karasu's hands and arms not only come to play offensively, but also are very effective on defense. In the match against Bastion mentioned, by using his arms which forces Kaiser to swat them away, he eliminates the possibility of Kaiser running into one direction, effectively limiting his attacking option. This is also done in the episode Nagi manga, specifically chapter 24, where Karasu is able to keep Bato at a comfortable distance, which allows for him to keep Bato at a range that makes his shooting less effective. Overall, his arms are used to keep his opponents as close as they can be, while still keeping them far enough away to prevent them from stealing the ball. This is mostly done through the pressing of his hands against their core, keeping even the more physically powerful players from bulldozing him simply due to their lack of foundation with their center of gravity. This was done against both Isagi and Shido in a 2v1 in chapter 98, as well as against Nagi and Bato in episode Nagi chapter 25. And his last ability, which was just recently revealed, is Metavision, first shown in chapter 286 of the manga. Metavision is a term used to describe a player's evolved vision that gives them an omnipotent perspective of the field. Through the use of head rotation in combination with a person's peripheral vision, Karasu was able to view over all of the events and actions on the pitch, isolating the most dangerous location for the player. Karasu was able to spontaneously awaken Metavision during the match against Bayern München, which led to him reading and blocking Isagi's twin gun volley. I see a lot of people commenting saying that everyone's getting Metavision now, but it seems to me that people are failing to understand what Metavision is as an ability. Metavision is an ability that can be obtained by anyone so long as they meet all of the requirements. First, a player must have high spatial awareness and or high analytical ability. The ability to identify and understand the movements and actions of other players on the pitch is a key component of Metavision. Second, a player must either enter flow or perform the actions associated with the ability. We see with players like Ryo and Nico that despite activating Metavision subconsciously, they were still able to do it by either entering flow or by performing the requirements of Metavision instinctively. And lastly, they must have an unrestricted ego. This isn't just simply related to those with holistic versus restrictive ego types, but is more in line with their true egos and desires. A character must not be playing under any false reasons or ambitions, or they will be unable to awaken Metavision, even if they meet every other requirement on the list, as shown with Hiyori. And even if a player does meet all of these requirements, they still may not be able to awaken Metavision, as seen with Rin, who despite meeting all of these qualities, does not possess the ability. Isagi himself confirms this in the Ubers match, where he says that Metavision isn't an ability that everyone can use. This was seen with him questioning Raichi, Yukimiya, and Corona about his plays and execution. Now, Karasu does have one evolved skill in his arsenal as of now in the story. For those who are unaware, an evolved skill is an ability or technique possessed by a player that combines multiple of the user's core abilities. When looking at Karasu, the evolved skill that he has in his arsenal is called assassin style ball keeping, like his other core abilities first shown in chapter 98 of the manga or episode 26 of the anime. Karasu's assassin style combines the advantages of both his ball keeping and his analytical skills into one, allowing for his value to skyrocket in terms of effectiveness. By observing the field, Karasu can interpret the positions and actions of other players, allowing for him to force them to react a certain way. This was seen with him versus Shido and Isagi, where he forced both players towards him, where he used his arms to not only keep their pressure and focus on him, but also ensure that they were unable to steal the ball. By adjusting their center of gravity, he breaks past his opponents, leaving them behind. This style is incredibly effective when paired with other players like Atoya, Charles, and Hiyori, as his possession allows the focus to shift off of those players, who all specialize in moments of surprise or sudden playmaking. And as of now, those were all of the weapons and abilities in Karasu's arsenal as of now in the story. But now, let's take a look at his confirmed chemical reactions. To summarize, a chemical reaction is a mix of two or more players' unique weapons that allow for a goal to be accomplished. Our first confirmed chemical reaction is between Karasu Tabito and Eito Atoya, first shown in chapter 99 of the manga and episode 26 of the anime, but also first shown in episode Nagi chapter 25. The combination between Karasu and Atoya is incredibly powerful due to the varying styles of both players, power and control, time, speed, and stealth. With Karasu's ability to keep possession of the ball, it draws the attention of his opponents towards him, where, like I mentioned before, he uses his arms to keep the ball within reach. While the focus gets shifted, it allows for Atoya to utilize the unseen spots on the pitch, weaving through blind spots to get into the perfect position to receive a pass. Even if you do notice him, his incredible speed and shifting of his own center of gravity allows for him to thrive in matchups against rigid style speedsters like Zantatsu and Shigiri, and then a simple link up is all that's needed to finish off the play. Even in moments when Atoya is noticed, it's very hard to stop him, especially if Karasu kicks his assassin style into a higher gear, making his moves more power hungry and forceful, creating artificial blind spots for Atoya to extort. The next confirmed chemical reaction in the series is between Karasu Tabito, Eito Atoya, and Shigiri Hyoma, first shown in chapter 120 of the manga or episode 32 of the anime. This chemical reaction takes advantage of the already powerful team-up of Atoya and Karasu and adds the third arrow of Shigiri Hyoma to the mix. In order to draw out the defense, Atoya and Karasu use their pressure to force them onto the wing of the pitch. Then by sending a pass to the surprise of the defense, Shigiri is able to use the straight line of the wing to blaze past the U20 defense. This allowed for them to break through the iron wall, where they could now apply pressure to the free center, and this nearly would have worked if not for Sai Itoshi coming in to stop them. The next confirmed chemical reaction in the series comes from Karasu Tabito and Hiyori Yo, first shown in chapter 129 of the manga or episode 34 of the anime. Hiyori and Karasu's chemical reaction takes into consideration both weak spots of the opponents and the precision of Hiyori's left leg. Hiyori's precision is extorted to hit passes through very narrow gaps in an enemy's defense, and Karasu's control allows for him to immediately create a distortion that his opponents have to look at. This distortion creates a weak spot that Hiyori can take advantage of, slipping into the blind spots of other players before emerging to receive a pass. This allows Hiyori the freedom to work with his attackers, allowing for his passes to fly uncontested. This chemical reaction is also performed with Charles. However, rather than relying on Hiyori's passes to create the distortion, Karasu simply does this with the receival of a loose ball. He then baits people towards him before chipping a pass to Charles, allowing for the contrarian to have the same amount of freedom. And the last chemical reaction, which is kind of funny because I just mentioned these characters, is between Karasu Tabito and Charles Chevalier, first shown in chapter 286 of the manga. By combining their vision, Charles and Karasu are able to intercept plays that would traditionally be impossible to stop. With Karasu's original block using metavision, it leads a follow-up shooter to be too focused on the ball. This allows for Charles to come in and block the secondary shot. But that is all of the abilities, techniques, and chemical reactions within the arsenal of Karasu Tabito. There will likely be more weapons and techniques revealed in Karasu's arsenal as we continue in the series, however those are all we have for now. Aside from that, I hope you guys did enjoy this video and will continue to enjoy it in the future. As for the question of the video, what do you think of Karasu as a character? Leave me your thoughts down below in the comment section. And like always, thank you all for watching, like and subscribe to see more awesome Blue Lock content just like this.